soft scrape of chalk on the board drifted down the empty hallway. Mark Ellis, Mr. Ellis to everyone at Maple Ridge Elementary, liked being early. He loved the hush before the day woke up, that breath the building took just before the noise. But this morning, the quiet didn't calm him. Something had been tugging at him for days. Lily was 10, all light and imagination. She used to laugh too loud, sketch horses that looked ready to gallop off the page, and tell stories where animals whispered back. Lately, the light was gone. So was the laughter. And there was one thing Mark kept trying not to see. Her belly. Week by week it looked a little fuller. He told himself it was a growth spurt, bloat, a phase, anything else. But the teacher's instinct he'd earned over years of watching kids closely kept tapping him on the shoulder. That afternoon, collecting art projects, he found Lily's drawing. 3 figures, a woman with long hair, a girl with braids, and a man filled in with black. No face, no eyes, a shadow. Lily. "Who's this?" he asked, gentler than he knew how. She lowered her gaze. "It's his fault," she whispered, almost soundless. The words slid through the air like a draft from an open door. Mark froze, trying to understand. But the recess bell rang and the kids burst out. Lily ran too, leaving the drawing behind, leaving the dark shape curling around the little girl on paper. That night, erasing the board long after everyone had gone, he still heard it. It's his fault. The next morning, he waited. After class, he asked Lily to stay a minute. She stood hugging her backpack, small and silent. He took a breath. "Lily, your belly. Are you pregnant?" She looked at him as if her body didn't understand the word. Her eyes filled. Her lips moved, but no sound came. Slowly, she lowered her head. Silence answered for her. A single tear fell, and Mark's world tilted. Outside, recess noise sounded like another planet. He understood in a flash. This was bigger than a lesson plan. He just didn't know how much that question would change. He paced the classroom, heart pounding. 5:30 glowed on the wall clock. The building was nearly empty. Lily sat on a chair, feet swinging, eyes on the floor. He knelt to meet her. "It's all right, sweetheart. Do you trust me?" His voice shook. He gave it no permission to. A tiny nod. "You can tell me what's going on. I promise, no one will hurt you." But she stayed quiet. Only tears slipped down, one by one, the way a secret too heavy for a child leaks out. He felt the ground give. In that instant he crossed a line, from teacher to protector, and there was no walking it back. Parents arrived. Grace, Lily's mom, hurried in, hair pulled back, eyes tired. She forced a smile at her daughter. Mark stepped forward. "Ms. Grace, could we talk a minute?" he asked, kind but firm. In the back of the room, he explained what he'd seen. Lily's withdrawal, her changing body, the drawing, the tears. She said, "It's his fault." Grace laughed, a brittle, defensive sound. "You're mistaken, Mr. Ellis. Lily's sensitive. She snacks on junk. That little belly. Gas." He breathed. "I hear you." But I saw fear in her eyes. When I asked if she was pregnant, she cried. Grace's smile vanished. "You asked my daughter that?" "I had to," he said softly. "I needed to know she was safe." Her arms folded, her words turned cool. "You should worry about tests and notebooks, not my child's body." He dropped his gaze, held his ground. "I worry about souls, ma'am, and hers is crying." She paled, grabbed Lily's hand, and pulled her toward the door. The girl glanced back, one quick look that said thank you and help at the same time. Then they were gone. footsteps fading until the hallway swallowed them. That look would not let him sleep. He sat at his kitchen table after midnight, coffee cooling beside him. What if I'm right? Kept looping through his head. Across town, Grace brushed her daughter's hair with trembling hands, insisting everything was fine. Lily said nothing. Not when the light went off. Not when the door clicked shut. Her pain hid in the hush. And there it grew. Before dawn, Mark decided he couldn't be quiet anymore. The school felt different the next day, like even the air knew something had changed. In the hallway, he felt glances stick to him, heard the low hum of whispers. The story, bent and mean, was already doing its rounds. He kept walking. He wasn't there to be liked. He was there to be true. At recess, he saw Lily alone on a wooden bench near the garden. Kids ran and shouted around her. She hugged her backpack to her stomach, as if she could fold herself away. Pain hung on her like a sweater too heavy to lift. He wanted to go, but knew a wrong word at the wrong time could be used against him. That's when he heard a voice at the gate. David, Lily's father, strode in, jaw tight, eyes hard. "You, Mr. Ellis?" he said, not bothering with courtesy. "I am." David crossed his arms. His voice was loud enough to carry. "You the one asking filthy questions to my daughter?" The playground stilled. Parents stopped talking. Children froze mid-run. Mark held his voice steady. "I did what any adult should do when a child is hurting." David stepped closer, face flushed. "You got no right. Trying to make me the bad guy?" "I accused no one," Mark said, calm as he could. "I just won't pretend everything's fine when it isn't." Silence dropped, thick and heavy. Lily stood just yards away, watching, eyes shining. The principal appeared, fluttering her hands. "Please, this is a school." But the moment had already bent. David took Lily by the hand and pulled her toward the gate. She went with him, backpack dragging, like she was being led away from the one person who had listened. Mark didn't move. Anger, helplessness, and grief braided in his chest. He knew it would get harder from here, but he also knew silence could cost a life. That night, while the city slept, he picked up the phone with shaking hands. Child Protective Services, after-hours line. He drew a breath. "I'm a teacher. I think one of my students is in danger." He told them everything. The behavior, the drawing, the tears, the question, the parents' reactions. When he hung up, something in his chest loosened. Then he called again, this time asking for a caseworker. A steady voice answered. "This is Ramirez. Tell me everything." She listened all the way through, didn't rush him, didn't flinch. In minutes, he felt, finally, believed. "You did what many wouldn't dare," she said. "Because of that, a child might be saved." Truth was about to have a voice. And when truth speaks, even those who don't want to hear, do. The next morning, the gate at Maple Ridge opened early. An unmarked sedan parked near the curb. A woman stepped out, gray-streaked hair in a firm bun, calm face, eyes that missed nothing. Caseworker Ramirez had been doing this for nearly 20 years. She knew when something was wrong before anyone said a word. The principal offered coffee. Ramirez declined. "I need to speak with Mr. Ellis." In the staff room, Mark waited with trembling hands and a racing heart. Ramirez sat, opened a black folder. "You reported possible abuse or neglect," she said. No fluff. "Tell me in your own words." He told her, the drawing, the tears, the mother's denial, the father's fury. He left nothing out. She scribbled notes, but kept her eyes on him, collecting each word like a puzzle piece. When he finished, the quiet stretched. "You did the right thing," she said at last. "Now let me do mine." That afternoon she knocked on Lily's front door. 3 crisp taps. Grace answered, pale with a too bright smile. David stood behind her, arms folded, suspicion sitting on his face. "We received a report," Ramirez said, showing her ID. "We need to talk." Grace exhaled through a tight jaw. "This is a misunderstanding. The teacher asked inappropriate questions. She got scared, that's all." "I understand," Ramirez said evenly. "May I see your daughter?" Lily appeared in the hall, clutching a stuffed horse to her chest. Dark half-moons hung under her eyes. She looked present and far away at once. "Sweetheart, are you feeling okay?" Ramirez asked, soft. Lily didn't answer. She burrowed her face into the toy. "You mentioned a health issue," the caseworker asked. Grace handed over a paper. "Here's the note. Food intolerance. Nothing serious." Ramirez read silently. Short, vague, no labs. She looked up. "No blood work? No ultrasound? No pediatric consult?" David's arms tightened across his chest. "We know our kid. We don't need outsiders meddling." "I'm not here to meddle," Ramirez said, voice still and steady. "I'm here to make sure your child is safe." She tucked the note into her folder and stood. "We'll be following up. If there's anything to investigate, we will." When the door shut, Grace collapsed into a chair. David paced. "This is that teacher's fault. He's trying to ruin us." Outside, Ramirez added one last line to her report. "Controlled environment, excessive defensiveness, child's affect inconsistent with parent narrative, urgent." She knew. Houses that hide the truth always leave tracks. The next day, Lily walked into school more distant than before. Kids whispered. Mark watched from across the yard, worry worn into his face. But his gaze held something new now. Determination. On Wednesday, a transfer student took the empty desk beside Lily. Isabella, curious eyes, open smile, the kind of kid who fits anywhere. Lily kept her arms around her backpack, quiet as a held breath. Isabella sat down like she'd been invited. "Hey," she said, "you like horses?" Lily's eyes flicked up. "Yeah. My grandpa has one," Isabella said. "His name is Esteban." For the first time in weeks, Lily smiled. Small, shy, real. They began sharing snacks, swapping stickers, laughing in the soft way kids do when they're building a little bridge no one else can see. Lily's childhood crept back in, inch by inch. On Friday during art, the prompt was, "An unforgettable weekend." Isabella asked, "Ever been to a farm?" Lily nodded. "I went with my dad, last month." "What was there?" "A lake. The water was warm and still, leaves floating." "Did you swim?" Lily hesitated. "Yeah. Then I got a fever, and my belly started to grow." The room froze around Mark. His pen slid out of his hand. A lake, fever, swelling. The pieces moved into place. That night, he opened his laptop and searched like a man pulling thread from a knot. Disease, swollen belly, still water, child. The results stared back. Clinical, cold, schistosomiasis, a parasite in fresh water, penetrates skin. Symptoms, fever, abdominal pain, enlarged liver, fluid buildup. His stomach turned, an image of a child with the same distended belly, the same age, the same haunted look. She wasn't pregnant, she was sick. He wrote a detailed account and sent it to Ramirez. He didn't sleep. For the first time, the truth had a name and a cure. The next morning, Ramirez knocked again. 3 taps, crisp as before. Grace answered, drained. David hovered, irritation curling his lip. "We need to talk," Ramirez said, holding newer papers. "Again?" David muttered. "This time with medical and court backing," she said. She laid the documents on the table. "If Lily doesn't receive a full medical evaluation by week's end, I'll seek temporary custody for the state." The silence was sharp. Grace went colorless. David's fists closed, but he said nothing. For the first time, their fear wasn't of being accused. It was of losing their child. Ramirez looked down the hall. Lily stood hugging her stuffed horse. "No one is here to destroy families," Ramirez said, voice steady, kind. "We're here to save a child." She left to the dry click of the gate. Inside, only the echo remained. The truth always returns, even when we bury it. Family court felt colder than air conditioning could explain. High walls, a glass ceiling washing late-day light in pale tones. Words felt heavy there, as if they carried futures, not just sounds. Grace and David sat in the front row, fingers laced but hearts apart. Ramirez flipped through reports. In the back, Mark sat still, waiting. When the judge entered, everyone rose. The gavel struck like a single syllable of thunder. "This is an urgent hearing," he said. "Possible neglect and failure to obtain adequate medical care for a minor." The CPS attorney spoke first. "Your Honor, the child presents serious physical and behavioral red flags. The parent's note is insufficient. No labs, no imaging. We need an order for immediate evaluation and treatment." The parent's lawyer stood, voice measured, sweat beading anyway. "Your Honor, my clients are attentive parents. A physician suggested food intolerance. There is no neglect, only concern. Accusations based on speculation are cruel." The judge listened, eyes settling at last on the man in the back. "Mr. Ellis, would you like to be heard?" Mark rose. His heart boomed like hands on a drum. He walked to the front with careful steps. He stood inside the circle of light where truth can't hide. "I'm Lily's teacher," he said. "I've known her nearly a year. She used to be bright, curious, full of life. Then she changed. She stopped smiling. She seemed afraid, and her belly began to grow." He swallowed. "When I asked if she was pregnant, she cried. She didn't answer, she just cried. There was a pain in that cry I won't forget. The room was so quiet, even pens stopped scratching. I'm not a doctor," he went on, voice low. "But teachers learn to hear what isn't said. I did my research. There's a disease, schistosomiasis, from contact with still fresh water. A few days before she got sick, Lily told a friend she swam in a lake with her dad." David's head dropped. Grace covered her mouth. "I'm not accusing anyone," Mark said, voice catching. "I'm asking, please don't let a child pay the price for adult silence." The judge watched him for long seconds, then set his pen down and folded his hands. "Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Your words are noted." He left. When he returned, his eyes were firm, his voice clear. After reviewing the testimony and documents, the court orders that Lily be transported immediately to the County Children's Hospital for comprehensive testing under CPS supervision. Grace cried. David closed his eyes like a man who finally saw the shape of his mistakes. Ramirez nodded once, knowing this step might save a life. "Temporary custody remains with the parents," the judge added, "but any interference will trigger immediate removal and a criminal inquiry." The gavel fell. The sound felt like the first deep breath after a long time underwater. In the hallway, Mark met Ramirez's eyes. She didn't smile. She didn't need to. "Now the truth can breathe," she said. For the first time, he felt he'd taught more than science. He'd listened to a soul, and that had saved a child. Night draped the city when Lily rode to the hospital in the back of a CPS car. Streetlights slid over the windows. Grace held her daughter close, hands shaking. David drove in silence, the road straight, his thoughts not. "It'll be okay," Ramirez said softly from the passenger seat. "She's about to get the help she needs." The ER smelled like antiseptic and urgency. A doctor skimmed the court order and snapped into motion. "Priority," he said. "Start now. Blood work, ultrasound, CT, swabs." In the courtyard below, Mark sat on a concrete bench staring up at a lit second-floor window. Time felt elastic, stretched thin between hope and dread. At 7 p.m., the door opened. The doctor stepped out. White coat, tired eyes, steady tone. "We have a diagnosis," he said. "Schistosomiasis. Advanced, but treatable." Grace's hand flew to her mouth. David leaned back against the wall, eyes closed. Ramirez exhaled, quiet, thankful. "Is it serious?" Grace asked, voice a thread. "It's manageable," the doctor said. "With the right medication and follow-up, she'll recover." David's voice was barely there. "The lake." The doctor nodded. "Likely there. Still water. Invisible parasite. It enters through the skin and grows. It's insidious, but we have it now." Grace cried silently. David covered his face. Ramirez stood, not cold, simply composed. The posture of someone who has seen the worst and is grateful to witness the better. Later, the room was peaceful. Lily slept, breath slow and even. Beside her, Grace stroked her hair. David sat in the chair, eyes softening around the edges for the first time in a long time. "It wasn't what we thought," Grace whispered. David nodded. "We thought we were protecting her. We were hiding from the truth." He knelt by the bed. "I'm sorry, kiddo, for not understanding, for not listening, for not seeing." Lily's eyes fluttered open. "I said it was Dad's fault. Because I got sick after the lake," she murmured. "I didn't mean he did it on purpose." David wept. "I know, baby. I know. I'm going to spend the rest of my life taking care of you." Grace laid her hand over his. It was the first real gesture of unity between them in months. In that quiet touch, something mended. Not only their child's body, but the family's heart. Days passed. Mark visited once. He didn't stay long. In the doorway, Grace met him. Her eyes were swollen, her face finally calm. "Mr. Ellis," she said softly. "Thank you. And I'm sorry for not believing you, for lashing out." He smiled with the humility of someone who knows when fate has asked a lot. "No apology needed. I did what every adult should do when a child is crying in silence." She blinked away fresh tears. "Lily is alive because of you." He looked past her to the sleeping girl, the stuffed horse tucked beside her. "She's alive because she fought. I just listened." He left as the sun rose. And, for the first time in a while, it felt like it was rising inside him too. A few months later, Lily walked back into class in a fresh uniform and the old smile. Her classmates clapped without planning to. Mark swallowed hard. When the principal began a small ceremony, the whole auditorium stood. "Today we honor someone who listened when no one else wanted to," she said, "who believed when others doubted." Mark flushed, smiled awkwardly. His reward was already there, alive, grinning, sketching horses that looked ready to run. He took a breath and thought, sometimes one question changes a destiny, and it takes courage to ask it. Outside, spring wind lifted the leaves into a soft dance. Life was starting over, and with it, the faith that listening is an act of love. This story reminds us that true energy comes from within, the kind that renews us every day. If this story touched your heart, check the pinned comment to discover products that inspire renewal and balance. Leave a like and subscribe to join us in our next story. This story reminds us that true energy comes from within, the kind that renews us every day. If this story touched your heart, check the pinned comment to discover products that inspire renewal and balance. Leave a like and subscribe to join us in our next story.